What's going on, TubeYube? Welcome back to the Plot Coalition YouTube channel. Today I am going to be walking through the cinematic teaser trailer that I made for my Red Dead Redemption inspired short film. Hey, if you guys don't know, I'm working on this short film inspired by the Red Dead universe, so if that's something that you're interested in seeing, definitely subscribe to the channel. Keep a lookout. Today we're gonna kind of be talking about taking your renders after they've been done in Unreal Engine. You've rendered them out. Now it's like, okay, how do I make this into a movie? We're gonna be going over that aspect. But before I get too deep into the weeds, I do want to shout out the sponsor of this project, Rococo. They sent me this awesome head rig for the project, which we used with our actors, and they were like loving this thing. It's super well balanced. It holds a phone or a stereo motion capture, face capture camera. I just use a phone because that's what I got. But yeah, they sent this to me. It's super sturdy, a great piece of hardware, which complements their Rococo Smart Suit Pro 2. So if you are interested in animation, motion capture, VTubing, stuff like that, definitely. I almost knocked over my tea. But if you're into stuff like that, definitely check out my affiliate link in the description. Head on over to their store. They even have some free stuff to get you started, so definitely check them out. They are a fantastic company, and I cannot thank them enough for sending this to me to complete this project. All right. So as we jump into this, let me provide a little bit of context as to what I'm kind of trying to do here. So I was a judge for a local film showcase that's going on in my area. And after I did the judging, I reached out to the person organizing it. And I was like, hey, if I made a teaser trailer for the project that I'm working on, is there any way that it could be used at the showcase? And he was super down with it. So I started working on pulling together a few shots from my project to put out. So these aren't final. Some of the shots might end up in the final thing, but by and large, this was something that I was mainly focused on making it as a teaser. So the first thing that I had to do was find some music that complemented both the game, but also the feeling that I was trying to evoke. Now, in Red Dead Redemption 2, one of the last songs in the game is Willie Nelson singing Cruel World. And it is a fantastic moment in the game, and I wanted to find a song that complemented that because I can't use the actual song because copyright. So I went over to artlist.io and I started searching through their library. Now, something that's fantastic about Artlist is that they have a wide variety of things, and chances are you can find something, even if it's as hyper specific as this, you can find something that'll fit your needs. And lo and behold, for this project, I actually found a song that spoke exactly to what the characters in the story are feeling. Like, each of them have kind of this different angle of struggle, and this song tells that story. So that was like a no-brainer for me. I grabbed the song, downloaded it, and immediately just started listening to it as much as I could to start generating ideas around that. And with that in mind, I started thinking about scenes that I had written for the short, that I had seen the actors perform, and tried to think of what are the shots that I want to be in this teaser trailer, because I know it's only gonna be like 30 to 45 seconds long. So what crucial moments do I want to add in here? So I went through intentionally setting up and trying to make the best shots for this teaser from what we had already captured. And I actually did a whole bunch of this live. So if you're interested in seeing this kind of thing and getting interactive feedback, consider watching my lives on Thursdays at 8:30 EST. Little shameless plug right there, because this is my YouTube channel. This is what I have to do to stay relevant on the internet. But with that, now we are going to jump into the computer and I'm gonna show you each shot that I got. Now, something that I did on this project, because I needed every second of time that I could afford, is I did most of the rendering at 720p with the intention to upscale it later. I did a very similar thing for New Frontiers. Certain scenes I just had to render at 720p, other ones I rendered at 4K. It really just depended, but just trying to get the best that I could so I could roll this out. So we're going to jump in and we're going to talk about each shot. So when I was in Unreal Engine, I went ahead and just grabbed a bunch of shots that I thought might be useful for the teaser, specifically around the exterior, just kind of like nice beauty shots that might not even be in the final film, but that I thought set up everything nicely. So it was kind of like if you've ever been on a real location, like shooting B-roll or whatnot, it was kind of like doing it that way. And then I brought it back in here and went and selected the best shots, the ones that are going to push the story forward. So this opening one started on the church with the sun coming up behind it. Just felt, right for this, and following it up with a wide of that. And typically in like filmmaking fashion, you usually want shots to complement each other in at least a series of two. Sometimes it can feel weird if you only show one shot of something. Sometimes it's the right thing to do. But in a case like this, as I'm establishing the environment, like having these first two shots be of the church works really well. And then moving right on, this is kind of like the central location for the whole thing. So I really wanted to put a highlight on it. And this is just part of that editing that goes into it, is figuring out like what is the next beat that's telling the story, what's drawing you in. And then we got a shot of like the first character that we see here. And there is another character back here. You might not notice him right away, but like the whole point here is to start getting you to think about these characters. Once again, I wanted to be really intentional about grabbing kind of this B-roll, also little things that build intrigue. So like when we start at the beginning of the shot, it's like, okay, it's a shot of the floor. And as your eyes start to scan it, like you start to see, like, oh, there's like, it's speckled over here. What's going on with that? And then like before you can register it too much, we're on to the next shot. We're building more intrigue. We show another character. This character looks kind of defeated, kind of disappointed. We don't know what's going on in the story, but we're already being fed these kinds of things. And once again, the song continues to push that. And then once again, now we're tying this back to the last shot. So rather than having all the exteriors stacked on one another, where we were outside of the sheriff's office before, now we're re-showing this because we looked at who we're assuming is the sheriff. And now we're back outside of here. We're tying the characters to the location more. And then right here, once again, the song says the lyric, "How it was I fell." Then there's a revolver pointing just past the camera. And it's building on top of that. All these are intentional, one after the other. So these are things that you want to keep in mind when you're in Unreal Engine, kind of what shots you do want to be rendering, but then also like, how do these all tie together? Because previous to getting into the edit, like, I had an idea of what shots I wanted and kind of where I might want them placed, but it wasn't until I was laying things on the timeline that it really started to come together. And then finally, as we build to the close of this, we land on this number, which is reflective of the name of the short film. Definitely not ketchup, definitely not Kool-Aid, but we get the idea, we've built intrigue, and then we cut. So why does any of this matter? Well, it is because there needs to be some level of storytelling when working on things like this. Because if it's just a collage of a lot of cool shots, then it's like, it's cool and all, but it's not engaging the audience. It's not telling them why they should care about this. And with this, because it's playing both at a film showcase, but it's also going out on YouTube, I'm trying to intrigue people more in what the project is. Like, I only have 45 seconds to do that, so I should probably be telling an intriguing story to set that up. I can already tell this is going to be a long video because I'm looking at my timer right now and I've been yapping. The other thing I did on this project, both in the interest of time, but also just to bring a little bit more life to it, is thinking about what simple VFX I could do. So in this case, in a lot of the shots, I added either flares from the sun, or I added just a subtle little bit of snowfall to bring a little bit more life to it without, doing something that was overly complicated, like animating another character or a horse or something like that. Just adding a little bit of snowfall just made it that much more lively. And in that same vein of making things feel alive, you want to be using sound design to your advantage. It was putting a sound design bed in there that just built texture, that made the world feel a little bit more alive. For stuff like this, it's all about building it out artificially, same way that you did building your CG scene, so you can really focus on making really high quality sound. So real quick, I am going to have you watch this version of it with no music, just sound design, and you can kind of hear what's going on to build those different things. It's mostly just background noise. So let's take a quick listen. So there you have it. It's super duper subtle. The music does take over most of the audio experience when watching it, but just adding that in there just builds that little bit of texture that makes every shot feel a little bit more alive. Like I had mentioned earlier, I rendered most of this at 720p, which means it's pretty low res, but I want to be able to upload this in 4K. So what I did was I exported the whole trailer and I ran it through Topaz Labs Video AI, which took it and enhanced it from 720 all the way up to 8K. Now what's fantastic about using this for renders is they actually have settings set up for computer generated renders so that you just really plug it in and it's just looking for the edges to refine those and upscale it to a truly 8K image. And I can also get all of the shots back in ProRes format, which is fantastic for color grading, which is what comes next, because you got your renders out of Unreal and sure they look good, but they could look a little bit better, and you do that with color grading. Now for my color grade, I am using tools from Red Giant, specifically Magic Bullet Looks, but if you don't have access to that plugin, fear not, there is a free version of DaVinci Resolve that does a fantastic job and gets a lot of the same effects that I'm doing here with Looks. But really what you're going for in here is to add effects like optical glow, halation, grain, stuff like this really takes the image and almost dirties it up in such a way that it makes it feel less CG. And that's really what I was going for with this one, is just cleaning it up by making it worse. And it's these subtle little details that go such a long way in making it feel more like it was shot on a real camera. You could even go as minute as adding little camera shake. I have done it before where like I've done a shot and I've added like 1 pixel of camera shake. Like it just moved 1 pixel up and down for like 1 or 2 frames. And like just those little bits of details to try and make it feel more organic go a long way into making the shot feel real. Making your renders feel real. Like you could taste them. I don't know where I'm going with this. But when you're done with that, export it and upload it to wherever you want, which in my case, I'm uploading it tomorrow. So if you want to see the final thing, definitely tune in for that. It's the same day that it's going live for the film showcase. So you'll be able to see it when it goes live. There is when it will be going live on YouTube and a couple of other places to build more anticipation for this project. But with that, I don't want to keep you any longer. This has been a little bit longer of a video, but I appreciate you sticking around. If you made it this far, consider subscribing. And if you're already subscribed, maybe consider becoming a member because it really does help the channel and you get some more cool perks, so consider checking it out. And don't forget to join the Plot Coalition Discord. And don't forget to go check out Rococo because they're fantastic. All right, that's it. I hope you have the most wonderful day.